All right, we got Raph and Lachlan from Mind Muscle Project. And oh man, we hung out a year ago in
Mm.
Austin, Texas. It was a year and a month ago. We had a great time there. I'm so stoked we got to hang out then because there's a lot of people I'm not hanging out with now. And there's all these people I'm normally crossing paths with and all this stuff. And boo, it shut
Yeah.
down. So now we're doing this on Zoom. We're doing this
Mm.
on Zoom, and we're
Mm.
posting it everywhere. And the Chinese are stealing all of our secrets. Uh, I don't know if you guys read that, but yeah. Um, so you guys have got experience in the fitness business that goes really, really deep. Running gyms, you have online training programs now. You've done all sorts of stuff. You're true entrepreneurs and coaches, and you guys have a really good beat on what's going on. And not only that, you're in Australia. So, and I know we have a lot of Australian listeners. So, and I know a lot of Americans and other people in other parts of the world are interested in what's happening in other parts of the world.
Mm.
And right before we hopped on here, you guys were talking about, some Americans hitting you up about, what's the opportunities in
Mm.
Australia because, the gyms are shut down. And we've done some shows about that, like how to manage all that from people who are still committed to doing the gym to some people wanting to go online. And there's just so many options. And it's, and a lot of times with a pivot, you're having to start over basically.
Mm.
And you guys have been successful with this. You've run gyms, but you also have online training programs now and all sorts of stuff. So I'm really curious to dig into what you guys are seeing right now and what's working, what's not working, and all that stuff. Are you guys? How's business right now?
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We're currently still locked down, but we're like right in the process of opening up. Some parts of Australia have just opened up their gyms. We've got outdoor training allowed, and we haven't quite opened up. So it's been interesting. It's been great because it's been an opportunity to basically correct a bunch of the stuff we wanted to correct in our business while we are closed, and we can just take a few months to do that. But we're still servicing nearly all our clients still. So we're doing online and keeping all our clients happy that way. But we are planning to go back into the gyms as well.
Mm.
We're staying on our leases, everything like that, and we're going to make it better than ever. We haven't like gone off to a pivot and forgotten about the gyms.
Mm. Yeah. Well, one of
Okay.
the things I'd say that's different as well is like even though because we had the three locations, the difference was between us and single locations is we had learned to become a pretty digital team in terms of operations, not just like revenue. And so when it went online, we were like, everyone knew how to use Zoom. Everyone's using Slack. We're using project management software like Notion. And so it just felt like, okay, we're just not seeing each other every day. And I forgot how much of the industry just has like a WhatsApp channel for their business, and they don't have like good client communication because they're just always there. And then when that went away, they're like, oh, what's this Slack thing? How do I communicate with my team? And it's like, oh, what's Zoom? And I was like, holy shit, what do you mean?
Yeah, it was shocking. I'm part of the CrossFit affiliate owners group on Facebook. They
Mm.
haven't kicked me out yet. I haven't been an affiliate owner in like 5 6 years, and um, yeah, a lot of people were posting in there. They go, I, "How do you use the Zoom and all this stuff?" I was going,
Mm.
"Whoa!" It's become such a normal part of my life that it
Mm.
was it was yeah, it's easy to forget.
Mm.
So out of the two of you guys, who's more operations or is it somebody else? Someone else who's the organizer?
I do more of the operations.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have you guys done what have you guys done that's been uncommon that other gyms like you see it's like you're just talking about like they don't know what Slack is or they didn't know what Zoom was
Mm.
or they weren't using project management software. Like what's
Mm.
some of the stuff that you guys implemented long before this that put you in a good position?
Well, during the process, I think the most uncommon thing we did, which kept us in a good position, was we just maintain our prices across the board for all the memberships. So pretty much everyone around us was decreasing their price, putting members on hold, or just doing some sort of decrease in value to their clients. But we maintained all our prices during the process. So we had all our clients keep paying their full rates, and we just tried to step up and deliver them value in a different way to just repay them for how much they're still investing in their fitness. So that was a number one. And that was huge because it kept the clients that stayed on, it kept them super invested. They still wanted to log on. They wanted to jump on the Zoom classes, jump on their online programming because they were paying for it. They were still paying their full membership. So they were keen to keep using the experience, and it got over that initial hurdle everybody has of going online. And it kept our coaches, just fired up to keep delivering because they knew all their clients were paying full prices when all like their friends at other gyms around them were like, hey, I'm paying 70% off my membership, or they put me on hold and they sent me a free program. So I think just being unusual compared to everybody else and continuing to deliver that was huge. And then I think the most basic thing is we just got rid of in-person meetings years ago. Online meetings just so much more convenient for everybody. Allows us to, I think, meet more frequently probably than the average gym for sure. You can't meet a few times a week in person. It's just so inconvenient for everybody when some people start their day at 4 a.m. Some people finish their day at 10. There's like no good time for gym owners to meet with staff. So we got rid of that years ago and we're doing online meetings. And I think it just allows everyone to, maintain their lives, but more frequently meet, which more frequently just solves problems, which during a process like this, when we were going from indoors to outdoors to online, back to outdoors, and there was so much chaos, like it was key. It was huge. Like we had to keep meeting online to make things work.
Yeah. And I think also from the practice perspective as well, like we had years of practice. So we knew what worked for us. Whereas when people are jumping on it the first time, they can use all the softwares that we're using, but they don't know the cadence. They don't know the frequency. They don't know how well their team is going to like it. They haven't got feedback from them yet. And so just all the structures and just the practice of these structures is so important. So I think that's where we had a real advantage because it was kind of business as usual from an operational end.
Yeah. A lot of gyms I saw, lowered the prices. And now what I'm hearing from them is almost like, well, now I got to raise the prices again now that we're getting back in the gym. And it creates like, it's like, oh, I lowered it. Now I'm going to raise it again. And it creates a weird conversation, especially when, we don't know if we'll go into lockdown again. So it's like, there's from the very beginning, there was conversations of this will over the summer will probably go down and then might come back in the winter. Well, our winter. But like, go back in lockdown. What you do just like lower your prices again. Like you're conditioning your clients to have that expectation. And when expectations aren't met, that's when people experience unhappiness and discontent. And that's not the kind of client you want. What did you guys do to add value to create value where there might have been an assumption that there's less value because people couldn't get in the gym? What was your communication like? What did you guys offer?
Yeah, then the number one thing we thought about was, hey, we just need to step up what we do off the floor. So obviously there is no floor, but outside of class times, like this has got to be way better than it was before because people feel like they're obviously not coming to the gym and not getting maybe the community aspect of seeing other people. So we stepped up really just how much retention work we do. We're obviously messaging clients multiple times a week from their personal coach because this is the time people fall off. There's no one, they don't see their friends, no one sees how fat they're getting. And they just, it's really easy to go a week or two online without logging into anything. So we stepped that up in a huge way. So people really felt like we hadn't forgotten about them. In fact, they felt like we were thinking about them far more often than we were when we had the gym. So we just like okay, we can't do the in-person stuff. We can't yell at them. We can't deliver value in that sense. Can't host their squat perfectly.
Like you said, yell at them and deliver value back to back.
That's one thing you really miss. We felt was like, you can't deliver that big motivation that you can often in person and inspiration. It's not exactly the same when you message someone or review a video or even coach them on a live class. It is different. But what you can do, which I think for a lot of people is more beneficial, is just hold them more accountable on a daily basis. Just checking in that they trained, they ate well, they followed their water drinking habit on a daily basis. That still transforms people's lives. And there's no reason why we can't deliver that. And, if the coaches are saving time on commuting, they can spend extra time holding clients accountable. So that's really the route we went down.
I also think that it started when we said to our coaches, because our coaches were just like our clients. They were like, all right, cool, let's drop the prices. Let's make it cheap. Let's just do online. And we had to step in and be like, if you think that the only like difference between what you do now, like 50% of their membership between what you do now And what we did in the gym is, some equipment and 4 walls. I'm like, you're completely wrong. You write a program for them. We still do that. You still coach them. We're still doing that. You're holding them accountable. We're still doing that. You offer them nutrition coaching. We're still doing that. We're doing all these things. The only thing that went away is just the location to do it in. And plus, we rented out half the equipment anyway. People came and grabbed it from the gym. So once they realized that, our coach was like, oh shit, yeah, it's actually like not that different. Okay, it's been a few months now. We're starting, like, we want to get back to the gym totally, but just changing their mindset on that, they were like, oh yeah, true. That's like, there's only a small difference between now and then. It's not a 50% difference.
Yeah. Sounds like your coaches likely got better at coaching because of this, because they realized where the value is at. It's in the relationship. It's in the conversation. I think the majority of coaches are completely missing that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd say probably for them as well, they had to have some pretty hard conversations because they're trying to keep people on membership who have lost their jobs. And I think a lot of our coaches really stepped up and probably did things that they really obviously weren't comfortable doing, but also didn't think they could do. So I think our coaches built a lot of self-belief in themselves as well through just hard conversations.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at with this, even if someone loses their job, the amount of value that we bring as coaches it's become more valuable.
Yeah.
So to the individual, because if they're at home, they're not doing anything. Yeah, I'm blown away. But it's easy for us, right? We've all been in fitness our whole lives, and the idea of not training is just kind of silly. It's like,
yeah,
well, I'm sure for you guys and for me, it was like I have more time to train. There's there's less time spent at restaurants eating out, and there's less networking or whatever. And now I'm gonna work out and get in shape. And then it was so weird to start hearing. I started hearing the feedback. By the way, I tucked myself away out in the desert by myself. So like I said COVID freaked me out. No, not really. But I started hearing reports back because we live in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
And like we live in this fitness bubble where it's like, yeah, this is a great opportunity to train. And I started finding out that people are going, yeah, I'm just gonna fuck it, fuck it. I'm gonna like just sit on the couch and eat Cheetos. And I do know some people that did that. Even people who are normally in shape were like, fuck it. I'm just gonna watch some TV, eat the Cheetos. And do you guys have Cheetos there?
Yeah, we got Cheetos.
Okay.
They're not very popular.
Okay. And then, but yeah, a lot of people have gotten overweight and they're out of shape and they're depressed and there's a lot of stuff not going right. So like the value of coaching is super, super high because people are all missing community. They're missing all that kind of stuff. Have you guys done anything community wise?
During this process, we haven't really pushed it that much. We have done some stuff. To be honest, our gyms are spread all across Sydney, right? So there was already quite a spread apart community. So it wasn't like everyone saw each other every day and that was like their best friends. Everyone came. Everyone was from different parts of Sydney. They come in, they get it done, and they go to work.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a huge part of our gyms before we even started. Really, we just went down one route, which was we just need to keep this coach-client relationship as hard as we can during this whole process. That's what's going to keep people training. That's what's going to keep people part of our ecosystem to come straight back in the gyms when this thing is all over. So we put nearly all our focus into that.
Yeah. I know a lot of gyms, especially CrossFit gyms, they I think they lean on the organic natural community that happens when people get in a class together. And it's not an intentional community very much. They may like imagine that it is, but it's one of those things where everyone just happens to be in the same place at the same time and they all like to do Fran. So we're all friends now, right? And so a lot of that happened, a lot of that comes together, and then this situation sucked that away from them. And it comes down to I like what you guys are saying here, that so much about the coach client relationship. And that's the one thing that when I met you guys, it stood out that you guys were much heavier on the coaches having a direct relationship with the clients and not so much about being cheerleaders in front of a class.
Yeah. And I would also speak to the fact that if, a lot of people are scared that if they get their coaches too close to their clients, they'll get up and they'll leave and they'll start their own gym. It's never happened to us once. And it's just because there's other things you can do in your business to stop that happening. Like being super transparent with your coaches about the operations of a business and what we do on a day-to-day basis. Because when we started at CrossFit gyms and the owners kept everything behind closed doors, we just imagined that they had an amazing life and that they had all this free time and all they did was come in and train and make all this money. When we tell them it's the opposite, it's Raph's on spreadsheets, for 6 hours a day, and I'm, doing marketing campaigns and Facebook ads and all this stuff. And it's all very hectic and very complicated. We're very transparent about that. We're very transparent about how much money the gym makes and the profits and all that stuff and how it gets distributed through the company. And so we don't really have any of those issues because no one's telling themselves fantasy about what it's like to be a gym owner. So when we share revenue and invest properly in our coaches, they're like, this is the best job in the world. I'm glad I don't have to do their job,
Yeah, most gym owners I've met, they started the gym because they were unhappy with the gym they were at. And they, have all those assumptions about how things are. Then they go open the gym and then realize that this is, it's a good kick in the nuts.
A very hard kick in the nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, now I get why, the gym was being run like this. Cause I think most people start a business because they think they can do it better.
Yeah.
So I love that transparency piece. And for a long time, I was afraid to, I remember sitting and wondering like, okay, I hear this transparency in business is supposed to be a good thing. And for a long time, I lacked the trust. I didn't trust my staff to know that, oh, we're making this much money per month. And for them to understand that this is getting allocated over here and over there. I think part of it is because in the beginning, I enjoyed a lot of success, but didn't necessarily know why. And so it's like, I almost couldn't tell them. Like I didn't know why things were working. So then, and there's a lot of money happening. So it was like, I was scared to reveal it and I didn't trust that they could handle it. And I'm just now realizing this as I'm saying it. I'm like processing this out loud. I'm like, oh shit, I just didn't know. I couldn't explain it well enough. I didn't trust myself to be able to explain it in a way that wouldn't be perceived as like, oh, we're making like really good money and Mike's just, fucking off.
I have no idea.
Doing whatever. It's like people ask me what I do for work. I'm like, I used to have a hard time answering that. Yeah. But how do you guys practice that transparency, and what all are you transparent with? Are you transparent about top line revenue and just how it's distributed as it goes down, or how's that work?
Yeah, exactly. So we are transparent on more than a weekly basis, a couple times a week, with how the whole business is going. And then I think what's important is then also showing each coach how they play a role into that as well, like where their portion of how they're contributing to it. And then it's great because then when they do well, they feel like, wow, I really pushed up the team. Or if they do poorly, they see how it actually does really affect the whole team. So that'll be everything from revenue. But I think if it's running a gym, you also want to bring it down to clients as well, like how we actually go with clients and who's doing well on the team, who's not doing well on the team, who's losing clients, who's gaining clients. So everyone can start to see how their impacts like really do impact on the goals of everybody. And then also sometimes, often with the gym, everyone's struggling at the same time, and it kind of opens that up. Hey guys, like we're all having a tougher month this month. And then other months when it's just like a good time of year, it's like, hey, everyone's doing really well. So you're doing well, but so is everybody else. And it's not that you've done some magic in this month as well. So we keep that all transparent. And I think exactly what Lockie says, it stops. If they just guess, their guess is obviously not going to be correct. But then also it's usually going to be, most people just like tend towards, they tend towards like some sort of more negative or like I'm maybe potentially getting ripped off sort of scenario. If you split a session with a coach like 70-30, they take 30 and you take 70, they're going to assume you pretty much take the whole 70 and just spend it on like an outrageous dinner that evening. And
on a watch.
Yeah, you got to start to break it down, because that's exactly what I would have assumed if my first coach was like, hey, I'm going to split it with you this way. Like, this makes no sense.
Yeah,
How could you possibly do that split when I'm the one working?
Yeah, you're spot on. I have a lot of coaches that come to us who think I'm tired of the gym taking 70 or 80%. I'm like, okay, it's good. I'm glad that like if you're fed up with that, that's fine. But just know that what the other option is to get into entrepreneurship. The other option is now you're gonna have to run marketing and sales and financials, and Like your job, like you may be collecting 20 or 30%, but your workload is gonna 10x.
So
It's
for
like,
punishment, they should be forced to go run a gym and give their coach 70, 80% and then see how they enjoy it. And then they'll
give their
change their
coach.
mind. Yeah, if the coach did it, if they go in, and I think that does happen sometimes, they go in and try and give like a really more like flip the script and give a really generous cut to the coaches, and then it's more
Oh,
enjoyable for them to run, and they'll realize that pretty quickly once they start running the business.
yeah.
Yeah, like we
Yeah.
had a young guy in our organization. It's actually he's the longest standing coach now, but it was interesting when he first came to me. He was only 21, and he had aspirations of running a gym. And at this, you don't ever talk anyone out of that, out of their excitement. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. Look, work for me. You'll learn a lot, and then if the time ever comes and you want to open your own gym or whatever, just let's have the conversation. But let's be really transparent along the way. I'll tell you exactly how things work here. You'll learn a lot. You can ask me anything you want. And, all I ask in return is that the second you really start to feel like you're going to leave, you just give me enough notice. And, we've had conversations over the last 3 years, and he's like, ever since from when I started and the story I told myself about what it's like to run a gym versus everything you've taught me to this point, because I've asked basically every question you have and I see it every week. He goes, I definitely don't want to run a gym. And he goes, I would have made the biggest mistake of my life starting a gym. He goes, I love coaching. I love helping people. And he goes, I would not want to do all the stuff you do because I would not get to do the one thing I enjoy the most. And I listened to him say that and I go, is that not every fucking CrossFit gym owner under the sun?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I want to know what do you guys think about like a lot of people. Let's talk about this as a career. All right. We'll talk about the gym industry and fitness coaching as a career. So a lot of people get into personal training because they love it. They love training themselves. They want to help other people. My experience of myself and my experience of a lot of people is they don't even run the numbers. And then they get into it and then realize they're not going to make the money they want. And then 90% of personal trainers end up going and getting a real job at some point, right? Quote unquote, real job. And what I've seen is most gyms are not run well enough to create a career for a coach where they can make enough money to live the way they want to live. And then most gym owners on top of that aren't running gyms where it's actually making enough money. What do you guys, I'd like to know from your perspective, what do you see career-wise? I mean, you're talking about coaches that can make it a career and they never have to own their own business.
Yeah, I think, people have been making a career in fitness for a long time in personal training. And it's mostly really been in the big box gyms, which I guess the owners of the big box gyms seriously knew what they were doing and they've known what they're doing for a long time. They've been really successful. And then that laid the platform for these trainers to make, I think, a pretty good living. Obviously, they work very hard in those places, but the ones that do it right do make a good living in there. I think probably where it's struggled more has been, in these smaller operations, which have just made things a lot more challenging. You got the gym owner that doesn't really make any more than just a good trainer, always made it a big box gym, but now they got all the responsibility of running a gym. And then they just generally haven't been able to grow the business to a point where any of the coaches can really make a career out of it. So they're all working, at multiple gyms. And then because it is just a smaller operation, there's not really any career progression for any of the coaches as well. There's kind of nowhere to go. They kind of start at the very ceiling of where they're ever going to go. And you don't see much of it. And because that part of the industry has had so much growth, that's where like most people have gone to get new jobs. And it's like probably more of a cool place to get a job as opposed to some big box gym. Probably what we've seen is just led a lot of really good coaches just to get stuck in a position where they've either got to go take a commercial lease and open their own gym, or they're just stuck doing the same job forever and not really having much of a career they can aspire to grow, which is a shame. But I do think that's probably coming to an end. I think this has probably accelerated things with coronavirus, but a lot of those type of gyms are probably just not going to last. Or if they do last, it'll like really stay more of a family operation where people that get into it like know they're not making a career out of it. And I think where more the careers will be more in, either the big successful Globo gyms that continue to do personal training, which has stuck around before and will very likely stick around after. And then some more of these, bigger franchises that are, I guess they're opening small boutique gyms, but there's a big franchise of them. And those companies just have much more career progression in them because you can start as a trainer in them. You can work your way up into the HQ. You can manage one of the locations And I think there's pretty good opportunities for trainers to be successful in that environment. But I just think getting stuck in a really small gym that is never planning on getting big and growing, there's not much career progression in that. And I think trainers are finding that out now.
Yeah. And I also think the owner themselves don't even know that there isn't a career progression. They just think, oh, I'm just going to keep getting more members in, and then I'll put more classes on, and that person will have more classes and they'll make more money. But, you got to think of it in the future. Okay. If, it takes, say, $75,000 to have a full-time wage, and it's better than working in another industry for lifestyle reasons or whatever. Okay, how does that fit into if staff costs are going to be, say, 40%, capped at 40% of revenue? Okay, how much revenue is that? And how many coaches fit into that 40%? And where does my pay fit into it? And then once you start running the numbers, you might realize, well, actually, I only got room for one full-time coach at $75,000 a year, if this much revenue, which is 100 members. Okay, I actually need a model that can support 200 members or 300 members, and then they start realizing, oh my God, the model I've got now, no one can have a full-time career out of this. Definitely with not the pay scheme I'm on. And even people that I think have cut their coaches in a full-time salary or whatever also have realized, now I'm not getting paid any money and I don't have anything left over, and the business doesn't have anything left over to grow. And I think, like Raph was saying, with this lockdown and everyone putting the whole thing on pause and like zooming out, having a look at it and not being in the day-to-day all the time, everyone's like, oh shit, this is not working. And like, I was just lying to myself. And so they're running and they're just like, this is it. Like, we know heaps of gyms that are shutting down, all kinds of gyms, franchises, CrossFit gyms, boutique gyms, commercial fitness, fucking Gold's Gym went bankrupt. And then other option is they go online, or they change their model. They choose a completely different model and they realize they're going to have to grow it a lot more aggressively.
Yeah. I've witnessed, I've witnessed a lot of gym owners have that come to Jesus moment recently, where it's like, I'm selling my equipment. I'm done. I'm washing my hands of this. I remember my come to Jesus moment where I remember I think it was like a Tuesday night or no, it was a Wednesday night. I'm at home. There's a CrossFit class going on at the gym, and I'm going, man, I've been working at this for years. I've been at this for, I think it was about 3 or 4 years at that time. I go, all right, I'm making okay money, but I'm, close to 200 members, which is close to capacity and all this stuff. And I go, I've screwed something up. I go, and I sat down, I go, how much money do I actually want to make? And I wrote the number down, and then I started reverse engineering what each member would have to be paying and all that kind of stuff. And I realized what that number was. And then I freaked out because I realized that somebody might be at the gym signing a contract right now for an amount that's too little or for not what we really want to do. It was after that moment in time, all business changed for me. And I was like, oh yeah, why would you ever start a business that won't work? But it's what you're talking about is most people haven't taken the time to reflect. They've just been doing what they see the guy down the street doing. And they assume that is what works. It's $150 a month, 150 members. I'm good. Like, that's how much money? Oh, that's a lot of money. Someone who's never run a business before, like, $30,000 a month sounds like a shitload of revenue, but it gets eaten up like that, right? It's so quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of coaches and a lot of gym owners I think they obviously should redo their model. I think that the affiliate model's not good. But I think you should also look at your business plan and see a really conservative amount of clients, say like 50 to 60, and be like, at this point, I'm making pretty good money.
Yeah.
And because I think that's a really achievable number for a lot of people. And then it's like at 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, like I'm making crazy money.
Yeah,
like,
what
I've got
you
$1 million
want,
business.
the way we always did it at the early days, and I think everyone did around us, was they would look at capacity. Like, okay, the gym is full. All right, that's pretty good money. Which is a funny way to do it because, within the four walls of your gym, you're basically like, okay, so we hit a crazy home run and we maintain that home run. And at that point, we're making pretty good money. You've forgotten about, the whole way up to getting towards that. You've forgotten about the plagues. They're going to rip you away from that again. And all those times you're like losing money, or it's a struggle, and it's super painful, and you might never even get there. And like that's not how you want it to be. You know, you want to be, it's really good up until the point. And yeah, if we get to the home run, unbelievable.
That's one of my favorite pieces of advice on gym ownership I think I've ever heard. is plan it off like 60, like half your capacity or a third of your capacity.
Yeah.
But everyone does that. They go, well, I can fit 200 members in here, you know, if I do the math. So I'm just going to base all my numbers off 200.
Yeah.
Like, that never fucking happens.
It's stupid. Well,
yeah, it's like you hit 200 for a month and the next month it's not. Yeah.
If people did it at 50% capacity, firstly, I think the main thing that people would realize is they are undercharging so much. But the second thing is people might not even open. They might be like, I don't have the balls to charge people that much money. I don't think I can deliver a service of that much money, you know?
Yeah. Well, when I had that realization, I had to ask myself, I was like, I either have to shut down the gym or I have to change my pricing dramatically. And changing the pricing is uncomfortable, but fuck it, I'm not going to shut the gym down. And that's what caused the transformation, that first transformation around money that I had trouble with. So yeah, I think you're spot on. I think a lot of people, once they find out how much they need to charge, their relationship to money is too poor to be able to overcome that. And they should be coaching somewhere else instead of running a business. What should coaches be looking for? If I'm a coach and I want to work at a gym, I have so many people in their early 20s that are going, oh, what do I need to do for education, all this kind of stuff? And I say, find a mentor. You know, if you want to own a gym, do what Lockie was saying, go work with a gym owner who's killing it and find out, you know, spend years. Because every 20-year-old wants to be making millions by the time they're 24. So
fucking Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
Photoshop Lamborghinis and fake Rolexes.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that's gone away recently.
Yeah.
I want to say like a lot of the celebrity stuff is faded. No one wants to see anyone on a yacht right now. That's what I've noticed. No one wants to. Everyone's like, there's a lot of people in pain right now, and a lot of people like the celebrities have kind of lost their oomph. From what I've noticed, people have become much more practical throughout all this, which I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
We'll find out.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
We'll say it's good, and then we'll see. I don't know. It is. Celebrities holding a lot of influence is a little scary. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
So what is somebody who goes, look, I want to get into coaching. Like, a lot of coaches make a mistake of going to a big box gym that has no career path for them. Like, what should they be looking for in an employer?
Yeah, I think, a good one that we like to do when staff come to us is just set more of a long-term plan than what we're going to do next month, which is when we got a coaching job, and what I think most coaching jobs, it's just like, hey, this is what you're going to do at the beginning. And that's really the whole conversation, rather than like, this is what we're going to do at the beginning, and this is what we're going to do in 1 year, and then this is what we're going to do in 5 years. And I think it's fine if maybe the 5-10 year plan is working for somewhere else. Like, maybe just the place you're going now isn't where you're going to be in 5 years, but they can show how that you're going to support you. It's going to be one step on the journey, and you're going to learn the skills that are going to set you up for that. But I think just having that long-term conversation with the owner of the business you're going to, or whoever's hiring you, is really important. Because first of all, if they got no long-term vision for it, then you obviously know it's not the ideal place for you. Or if they've got some weird thing about you progressing and it's not what they want to keep you down, that'll probably also come out in the conversation. And then, yeah, if it's got the long-term progression you want, then it's likely a better place to go. And I think just in terms of the actual job you're doing, what we have found is that if you're only doing like group classes and stuff like that, I think you are holding yourself back, because you're just not really getting the opportunity to really coach clients, really practice your skills. If you're learning some incredible technical stuff about, how to best, get activation in like the right hamstring, and then you just coach 30 people in a massive group class, you never really get to put that into place. But you never get to put into place the human psychology stuff you read in your book, and see the results of that and build relationships. So somewhere where you can do some real coaching with clients, in a one-on-one or in a smaller fashion or in an online fashion, and you can build those relationships and get results and build confidence from there to go to the next step. and then to get opportunities to do other roles in the business. Like, hey, am I ever going to get to do some sales at the gym, or some other task that is going to set you up for whatever you do next. I think if you're only just coaching like a big group class, and that's like really the only role you do, and getting to mop the floor, then that's maybe on like a 6-month, 1-year job for you, and you kind of learn everything you're going to learn, and then it's time to go to the next thing.
I also think that a lot of coaches, when they're young, in their early 20s, they have so much energy and so much resilience that they just think, okay, how much of my time can I trade? Because I have so much energy, right? So how many hours can I possibly work to make the money I want to make? And so they start, building out 40-hour, 50-hour coaching weeks, and very soon realize after a couple of years that this is completely unsustainable. And so I think any sort of career path that involves those giant 30, 40, 50-hour weeks it should be a huge red flag, because there's going to come a point where you are going to want to take a holiday, you're going to want to party and not have to wake up at early morning on a Saturday and coach a class hungover. You're going to want to just be a normal 20-year-old and just have fun, right? And just enjoy yourself. And if you in a career that doesn't allow you to do that, you might look back on it in 3 or 4 years and kind of regret it. It's like, fuck, I had so many good years and I just ended up working all of them away for $25 an hour, and it wasn't really the best money or the best use of my time, because I was tired all the time. I rocked up to class, I was giving an average service because I was exhausted. I ended up hating it, and then they leave the fitness industry, right? That's such a common story. Whereas if you can find something that's good money for 25 on the floor hours, maybe less, and then some other areas of the business, I think that's a really good sustainable way to kind of get your feet wet in the beginning.
Yeah. You guys gonna be hiring after this?
Americans only. We're taking on refugees. They're coming in on boats.
We're gonna
if it's not safe to go back to their home country, we'll take them.
We're gonna do sponsorship visas, but you're gonna work for free. We'll let you sleep in the gym. Has Corona got your country? Are you still in lockdown? Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh man. So it's easing up there right now. It's easing up.
It's easing up. And I think so we'll be back. We never know. There could be like a second wave, whatever, and it comes back again. But we've already been through it now. Been through it for 2 months. And now I'm like, hey, if we had another one, I'm like, whatever. We just did one. It's not going to be any worse than that. So I think the fear aspect of closing down is like gone compared to how it was maybe in March when we first heard this thing.
Yeah.
So we're not too worried about that. And then I think, just the economic situation here is probably not been as crippling as it has been in the States. We're lucky to get more support from the government, definitely than the gym owners we've heard over there. And there definitely will be consequences, and it won't be the same as it was before. And like you said, gym models will have to change. But the obvious thing is that people are prioritizing their fitness more than ever. Like home gym sales are like completely off the hook. I don't know. It's probably been like 5 to 10 years worth of home gym sales.
Can't get a kettlebell these days
of this year. If you just look outside, because we live where it's pretty condensed where we are right now. And almost any time of day, you look around the apartments, you can see somebody exercising on a veranda or like inside their window, doing some squats. And like you never saw that before. So what's obvious is that it hasn't gone out of fashion. If anything, it's come way more into fashion, because it's like the one thing on there is, okay, I'm stuck at home. I've got to find a way to exercise. So as long as the demand is there, we know that it's going to be fine, and we're going to reopen. And there's going to be people that want to get in shape. We'll be there to service them.
Yeah, the one thing we're strongly encouraging gym owners and professionals to do is to have a long-term online revenue stream, because you need something that if this is to kick off again, or honestly, if you feel like you want to shut your gym, you have a backup, like you've built something within, because having a gym and having online is better than just having online to bring in leads. Like you have like an actual physical location that makes you more legitimate than just the online trainer at Fitness First. You can say, I run this gym, I do this, I do that. It gives you an opportunity to build up an online client base or a good online revenue stream that if you decide, hey, you know what, it's probably just easier to shut this gym down, you had the advantage of having those 4 walls to build up that online revenue stream. And there's obviously heaps of different ways to do it. You can just do like obviously straight programming, you can do live classes. There were so many variations of it that we've seen, but you should still have something ongoing that's sustainable, because now, it's so unknown. Anything can happen, and so online is secure. It's bulletproof. It doesn't go away. So that's something we've been working hard on. We were kind of building it out already, but now obviously it just kind of accelerated the process. And yeah, we're like encouraging everyone to build out something like that for themselves.
Yeah, I would say that not just go online, but do it well. And it's
100%.
like hearing what Raph is saying is like, oh, we'll do it again. But I know a lot of gym owners that went online and it wasn't done as well. They don't have the experience that you guys have. And when you get into online market, you actually start competing globally, not just locally.
Yeah.
So if you don't do it well, if you do it okay, then it's going to work okay for a couple months. But if you're in lockdown longer than a couple months, people are going to start wandering off.
Mm.
So, yeah, I want to, I guess, warn people, don't just go online and create some online stuff. Like, make it as good as your gym. Like, make it add value too. Plus, there's such a good opportunity to create something online to support the gym members. That's going to cause you to stand out when everyone goes back, because all the gyms are going to come back. Well, not all of them, but some of the gyms are going to come back.
Not all of them, a few of them.
They're going to come back, and then, but like the ones that are going to stand out is like, if I go to a gym and okay, I can buy training, this and that, but if I also have this online curriculum I have access to and all this other stuff, and by the way, remember that lockdown we went through, or remember the last 3 lockdowns we went through? Like, yeah, we're cool through all that. Like, we still got you.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think this is the last one.
Well, look at what F45 did. Is they obviously they're making moves in the States, and they've kind of they started here, so they completely saturated their gyms, and they just to the detriment of their gyms, honestly. But a good move for the headquarters is they just made those home F45 gym packs. So it's like, if you want to do F45 from anywhere in the world, there's not an F45 gym near you, you just order their home training kit. It's like a water bag and some dumbbells and some other branded kit.
Looks like a golf kit.
Yeah. And then
It's
you
like
just
less than $100 of value, but
yeah. And then it arrives at your doorstep, you unpack it, and you got a home gym, F45 home gym, and a live stream, and you're golden. You're killing it. So it was smart from their perspective. Like, something like that, super creative. Obviously, it could hurt the gyms in the future, because people be like, why would I pay extra to do it at the gym and, be around people that's potentially unhygienic, where I can just do it at home? But that's a great pivot.
Yeah. All right. What's going on with Mind Muscle Project?
Oh,
what you guys doing in the podcast
by the
world?
virus?
Yeah, unaffected.
100% unaffected.
Yeah, we're in a temporary studio. We had to move out of our other one, and we're looking for a new one in the future. But yeah, the podcast has been really interesting, because we weren't sure what would happen to the numbers with the whole disruption. It's like, hey, will we get more people because they have nothing to do all day? Will we get less people because their whole routine of traveling and sitting on the subway and listening to us, is that all out the window? But it kind of just fluctuated and landed somewhere in the middle. Like, it went up for a bit, then it went down for a bit, and then it just ended up plateauing it where it normally is. So from our listener perspective, we're very lucky. They're quite loyal. They're happy to tune in every week. But yeah, same deal. We just knew that there's always been a demand from us for online programming, but we've never really had the resources or the individual excitement, I guess, to do that with everything we're doing with the gym. So like, we're doing all this programming, doing all this coaching. We don't have the capacity for it. But now, because we've grown, we have a team. It's like, we have a team of coaches that write the programs for us. So yeah, we built online training for a lot of the people, because they were asking for it for so long. They always asked how to put it together. And we never felt like, being the curators of other people's information, that we were as qualified to write the programming, until we just got so much demand for it. People were like, hey, we just want a damn program from you guys. So yeah, we got some programming streams that we're launching pretty soon through an app.
And you probably know more than you think you do.
That's what
I think that's true of every coach I meet. They're like, I don't know. And I go, and then, you put a client in front of them, they start working. I'm like, you're a fucking genius. You don't even know it. Yeah. But that was, you're saying that was your case too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And part of it was, we just needed the manpower as well to do it. And, I think a lot of people have to kind of squash the belief when you go online that it's like, yeah, you are competing globally, but hey, you only need, a few hundred people, 1,000 people or whatever to support you. And, you have plenty of cash flow to then do whatever else you want to do with, continue to grow it. And then I think as well as like part of the thing is you go and look at other people's training programs as well who are like killing it and supposedly experts, and you're like, this is dog shit. Like I could write a way better program than this. And so once we got a marketing team and stuff, and we've got a couple of guys that have been in the industry writing programs for big fitness influencers for a long time, and they're like, hey, you guys know so much more about this shit than they do, and you have a better platform. Like people know your message better than a guy with a six-pack swinging a dumbbell around. And so their belief their belief as well was like, hey, it would be a true shame if you never launched any like proper training. So we did. Yeah, it's what we've been working on at the moment. So
when's that
excited to
launch?
launch that. So probably launching end of the month, I would say. But on the podcast side, it was actually very upsetting we didn't get to go to the States this year and hang out. Like we watched, because we filmed all the videos and stuff of, even the first episode you were in it as well. And I stumbled on the video somehow. I think I was uploading something and I sent it to Raph with a sad face. And we're like, fuck, we are really going to miss our excessive whole food.
It was the first time since 2015 or 16 we haven't gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, ruined our streak. We'll be back.
Yeah, we want to come back. We'll miss it.
Yeah. We're going to bring guns this time. We know it's like things have gone down.
We're going to get strapped.
Yeah.
All right. You got to be careful which state you're in. You can't do that in California or New York, but you can do it in Texas, Nevada, Arizona, Florida. You guys come out. Let's meet up somewhere in a gun-friendly state, and let's just fuck shit up. Like, in Nevada, we can get machine guns.
Holy shit!
You guys want to like fire off some like big machine guns?
No, I'll fire rocket launchers and shit if I have to.
Keep us safe.
If I have to. Oh, man, that's awesome.
I'll try it all.
Try it all.
Yeah.
Oh man, have you guys been working a ton throughout this, or what's the workload been like the last couple of months?
Well, you had a kid, so yeah, your workload's been absurd.
Dude, you had a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Strange timing, I know, but it had nothing to do with the coronavirus.
Why did you do that?
Figured we were stuck at home anyway.
Yeah, the workload.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the workload's been just been different. It's been different. I would say in a way it's kind of been like a mental holiday in terms of like deadlines and the pace of everything, because it's everything kind of slowed down. We're fortunate we've got a big team and they're kind of handling all the day-to-day operations. But from because when you're leading the team, it's always about planning and like executing plans and building new plans and forecasting. And you couldn't really do any of that. Like we built a plan for the lockdown, and then we just wait. It's like, all right, no one's really signing up. We signed up a few people. We're doing a little bit of advertising. We're doing a little bit of this. We're planning. We're building programs. But at the same time, it's like, all right, we don't know when we're coming back. We don't know like no one can leave their house. So it kind of just for like what I would say like a 3-week period, like right when you had Ziggy, it was just kind of paused. Nothing really changed day to day. It just felt like the same day over and over again. It's like, all right, cool. Wake up, get a takeaway coffee, come back. Like, I don't know, go on the internet for a bit, watch YouTube, Netflix, do a workout, come back home. Like that was it. So for 3 weeks, I felt like the workload was relatively light in a way. And then like in the last 2 weeks, now that we're going back, it's felt like a lot.
Well, now it's different because now I think we realize that you basically have like a once in a very rare opportunity to set the gym up the way you want to set it up. So we're trying to go back and say, okay, how can we correct all the wrongs or the things we wanted to correct that maybe would have taken 6 months for this transition, because you got to transition things slowly with clients and with coaches because everyone hates change. Now we're like, okay, we have like 3-4 weeks to implement all those changes before we go back and make the gym.
They won't even notice.
So now's the time.
It is a great time. Yeah. Anytime there's a major change, it's a great time to do a lot of little changes too. Because everyone's
not even exactly. You can just knock it out. You can blame it on that and just get it all done.
Yeah.
We got a scapegoat
the
now.
whole model. Yeah. We're like totally changing up our entire model. We're doing a full rebrand. We're like redoing our systems, our coach pay, everything. Yeah. So it's
there's all stuff you wanted to do before, but just saw a difficulty in making it happen.
Yeah, like there's so many things that stop you from doing it because there's so much expectation about what's already happening. And when you just put a knife in that, and we're just like, all right, cool, we're coming back now, new brand, new colors, like new class model, new coach, like setup, totally different now, totally different. Even targeting a new type of clientele, like more of some of our top tier clients. And so, yeah, because the virus get off all our low paying clients, and so we're like, all right, cool, let's just build a model that's based off all the higher paying clients, and let's just service them now. So, yeah, we've just been hard, like rebranding and changing our messaging and changing the client we're going after and the programming, and even like just the class model is totally different now.
That's interesting that what you said, that it scared off your low paying clients.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, they lost their jobs, right? And so all of a sudden it was like, because fitness is such a larger percentage of their income, it's just like, unfortunately, one of those things that goes really fast. If it's not, they don't feel like it's a necessity. Whereas higher paying clients, if fitness is, if $100 a week is, 12, 13, 14% of your income, that's a lot compared to someone where it's like 0.5%,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they're paying, double that, or even less. And so it was just one of those things where we realized, okay, these are still great people and we still service them and they've been great clients for a long time. But in the future, if this was to happen again, we want the clients that, they don't even think about it. I mean, obviously they still want to get training by us, but cutting fitness is non-negotiable. Like, it's not an option. We have people, some of those clients pay more now. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I want more PT. I want to meet up in the park. I want this, I want that. And so they ended up paying more money. And I'm like, all right, these are the clients you want. The clients that can afford, $100 to $300, $400 a week of training, if they choose, if they think the value's there. So that's really what we're basing the model on now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we've had a lot of clients, a lot of coaches that are in the program that, yeah, everyone who's doing charging more than $500 a month is like, they've grown through this.
Yeah.
And those people who are running gyms where it's a lot of people paying $125 a month or whatever it is, it's just
Yeah.
things
If
are
you can build-
vanishing
yeah.
quickly.
It's like a situation that the virus, something like situations to destroy the low paying clients. Like if you look at, say, the lowest paying client, it's a gym that's like $8 a week and it's
Gold's
just a
Gym.
Globo gym. They're gone, right? So they're not paying anything during
Planet
this. And then-
Fitness. Do you guys have
Exactly.
Planet
Then
Fitness down there?
I don't think there are any of them, but
There's not, no.
we definitely, obviously
But
they're
But you
they're
still
well
make
famous.
fun of them, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
make fun of them, right? Please. Okay. Thank you.
It's still the example of a bad gym, even though we don't have any of them. And then if you go one step up from that, it's like, yeah, maybe the $150 a month CrossFit gym, they also got hit, second hardest, where it's like
Right.
most of the members lost the job because they tend to work in shift work and casual work and cafes and restaurants and things that have, or, retail. And then moving back in the gym, they rely on having 30, 40 people in a class the most. And they're the ones that are going to be hardest hit by regulations around how many people you can have back into a class. But then once you go all the way up until, it's like the high-end personal training studio, it's the same, right? They maintain all their clients through it. All their clients kept their job. They were able to obviously keep them online relationship because they had a really tight relationship with these people as well. And their model probably fits perfect with the regulations when they came back because they weren't sharing equipment and there wasn't 50 people in a small room before. So it's ideal, it's like they're literally untouched. So it was almost just like, because it hit the lowest paying jobs the hardest and it hit the packed classes the hardest, it was like the perfect storm for low paying clients is to be hit the most.
Yeah. Brilliant conversation today. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Yeah, man.
welcome.
Thanks for sharing. Anything else you want to leave the folks with before we do the sign off?
No, man. No, that's I mean, if you come out here to Australia, I'd love to do one in person, get you on the show again.
All right.
And so, yeah, people can just look forward to that when we finally get you down under. Or,
California, Texas, and then now it's time for Australia.
Yeah.
If flights open up, I'm thinking September, October. So,
oh, really? That soon?
Yeah. We were planning a trip to Australia. We were talking about it a few months ago before this whole thing hit. We were
Right.
talking about our fall.
Yeah.
And, that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
So if it opens up, I basically cleared the calendar for the rest of the year. Paleo FX is still happening in July.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be at that, but outside of that, I have zero plans.
Mm.
So we'll be coming down, especially if it opens up. So
Yeah, sick.
hopefully it will.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do people find you?
Best place is the Mind Muscle Project on Instagram. Yeah, and the Mind Muscle Project on the podcast app or Spotify or wherever they find it. And we talk about anything and everything on there. So people want more info, they can find it all on that.
They have me on there. They're fucking wild.
Yeah, we had you on episode 100 actually.
It's risky.
Long time ago.
It's
100,
risky behavior.
101. And then, yeah, we had you guys on probably 100 episodes later as well.
Yeah.
Feel honored.
Yeah. Featured
All right,
guest.
guys.
Cool.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
Thanks so much,
Thanks
Mike.
so much, Mike.
All right. Yeah, hang on there.